really low, basically at 0%, um, for a while now, especially with the pandemic when that hit. As things are starting to improve and the markets are starting to improve, they will raise rates up. They'll raise their base rates up that we as mortgage companies and lenders buy from.
Yeah.
So if their rates go up, our rates need to go up, is the standard affair. And right now, going by the reports that are coming out, the economy is getting closer to that. Their set numbers that they have, the reports are looking at. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's awesome. That's a great explanation. How about for those that are brand new and want to kind of follow what you're saying? What are 2 websites or ticklers that you follow on a daily basis that you would say, hey, every investor should be kind of watching these numbers coming from the feds, or here's the website I do?
I'll actually post it's my daily morning go-to. I'll actually post it in the chat.
Perfect.
For everyone. That way they can get it.
Fantastic.
And yeah,
Matt's pretty jumped in
there.
there.
A lot of subscription services, but I found this is my great daily go-to. They will have links to CNN, Fox News, all your morning reports, MSNBC. I will at times go through all of those early in the morning.
Yeah.
That way I kind of have an idea before the stock exchange opens, kind of have an idea where the rates are going to be going. Another interesting, this is a little tidbit, not everyone knows, rates do change throughout the day. So if you're doing a home loan with someone, their rates may be a certain number in the morning, but they can change throughout the day. So that's something you'll want to be aware of with your loan officer, or if you're looking at locking. It could be really low in the morning, and then before the markets close, it could have gone up a point, or a percentage point, or cost you an extra $2,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, the markets are volatile at times, extremely. Right now, they're pretty steady. They're not moving, to the extremes. But yeah, it looks like we got So those are the 2 main sites I go to in the morning to start my day in the morning, and then from there I'll branch off. There's some paid subscription sites you can go to.
I think that's a great start. I think just for everybody who's
get a lot of your general news.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think especially in the season that we're in right now with Biden proposing some things, like the more informed investors are, the more strategic we'll make decisions. So super important, and that's good. But right on. Well, welcome to everybody. Glad that everybody's on. Happy Friday to everybody as we kind of circle the end of May. And I don't know about all of you, but I'm excited that we are partially masked and partially unmasked, depending on where you go. So we're coming out, which is exciting. Of course, the frustrating thing is every time you walk into anywhere, you have no idea if you're supposed to mask or not mask, or it's an interesting world we live in. But regardless of how the COVID is going, real estate's on fire. And I think everybody right now understands this is a good time to strike while it's hot. And it's great for all of you that are on here. Thanks for jumping in. I see Nate Robbins. Haven't seen his face for a long time, so welcome. Blaze is at the gym, so that's exciting. So welcome to all of you. Alex, do you want to take it from here and kind of hit the next section?
Yeah, guys. Thanks for joining us today. We started off in the beginning with leads, needs, and good deeds. So I know we were going to bring you on, Patrick, for a need, but we took care of that in the intro, which was great. But anyone else have a live deal that they'd like to talk about? I think, Blaze, you were saying you had a ground up. Can you talk? Let's see.
In between.
Yeah, in between. So I'm just walking out, so not as many people here. But yeah, I have a ground up. It just countered us. We should be able to get in and out construction wise, since there is some permits run. It looks like the permits are already run for the property because they were going to build, but probably run out of funds or just don't want to do it. So I already went through the process for Kiko, just starting off first time. So I know it's going to take a little bit longer. Acquisition for the land is $435. Build's going to cost us $300K. I have my partner. He's a previous flipper. He's been on hold for flipping for about maybe a year and a half or two, just because He's just been focusing on his general contracting business. So I have a family doing the GC side for a lot cheaper than most people can. They just countered us yesterday. So we're looking through everything in the calendar, looking a little bit through all our paperwork. But yeah, we're looking into it at all in cost at 735 total. And comps in the area are going for anywhere from high nines to about 1.1 for that size of home.
Very nice. That's so are you looking for gap funding, or are you gonna need an investor?
I don't necessarily need gap funding, but we're always looking for gap funding regardless. If we can keep our money more leveraged, then that's always a good thing in my book.
Okay. Well, we're definitely looking at getting our mezzanine fund, our gap fund ready. So we'll definitely be in a conversation to help everybody on this call for this here in Hawaii to start.
Hey, Alex, since you mentioned a mezzanine fund, gap fund, can you just describe that for folks that are kind of newer and not sure exactly what you're talking about?
Yeah, we're going to be looking at essentially helping with your down payment and coming in as an investor in on the deals. We'll be typically charging about 12% interest, 2 to 3 points, and then we'll be taking a portion of the net profits or equity, or charging an exit fee. But we will have a substantial amount of gap funds available here shortly. And, we love to help anyone that's looking to get a deal done. And I think gap funding's or mezzanine funding's a huge opportunity to help everyone on here be more successful and close some more deals. But thank you for sharing that. And if anyone wants to jump in and JV with Blythe on his project, I'm sure he'd love some help and some money, it sounds like. Anybody else have any deals or any good deeds or leads? I know Greg's got something. You always got something, Greg.
I don't know about always, but yeah, we got this one. It's a 3rd-acre lot in Old Wailuku town with a big old main house, cottage, and a big carport, which we would be. So we're offering it as a wholesale. If we don't assign it or kind of just unload it quickly somehow, we're gonna probably just take it on and do the CPR. It'll be a 3-unit CPR. The main house is a tear down. So we would probably either just like rebuild it one wall at a time to kind of salvage, and speed things up on the permitting side, or just demo it, build a new main house. Then there's like I said, there's a 1,500 square foot carport. So we would demo that, put another cottage there. And then there's a 500 square foot cottage in the back and plenty of like space. The lot's pretty big for being, Old Wailuku town. So they all get a pretty good size yard. And yeah, so it'd be a 3-unit CPR. We are offering it right now for $639.5. And if we don't assign it in the next, I would say like 3-4 days, like in the next week at the most, we'll just be taking it down ourselves because we got a lot of planning to do. If we're going to take it down, we got about little over a month till closing. So yeah, we have a few investor developer kind of guys very, very interested. So it looks like it's probably going to get assigned in a few days, but I'm posting, I actually put it on the Facebook group right now. So if anybody's interested, go there, check it out. It'll be up in about 30 seconds. And I'll also drop my email in the chat here.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. Did you reach out to Ernesto? He loves the CPR.
Oh yeah, he's one of the guys I was mentioning. He's interested. Oh yeah, and sorry, it's $639 purchase price. Rehab, depending if you building the second cottage and everything, probably be around 500. And then the ARV after CPRing, which should be around 1.8, 1.9, something like that. So there's probably around like 400 to 600 potential profit, depending on how, if you're financing hard money and all that.
Perfect.
Good stuff. Sounds like a good one. Alex Camacho's always got some good deals too.
I know, right?
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? I love the tribe. I do have my Maui deal. We just negotiated a cash for keys with the tenants, so it'll be hitting the market. I'm thinking somewhere in July. It's a beautiful property. Probably go for somewhere around 1.7. Anybody's looking for property on Maui with ocean views, with a legal attached Ohana unit and an unpermitted Ohana unit as well. So it could bring in some income. It's beautiful and has ocean views, and you'll be in the same pocket of all the big dogs, Brandon Turner and Josh Dorkin and Slava and a bunch of other great investors. Yeah, so with that, and what
I'm
else?
not sure that's a selling point though, Alex. I'm not sure we all want to be on the same street and talk investment all day long, but you know, at the same time, it could be fun.
This is true. Depends, you know, how much you want to be involved. But yeah, so we're doing that, but we just locked in deal number 10 right now. I don't know. I'm kind of running around like a chicken with my head cut off right now, making sure we have enough funds for everything right now. But hey, this is where I wanted to be. So let's rock and roll.
That's awesome. Hey, Alex, have you checked out what the Airbnb rates would be on that ocean view house if you were to Airbnb all three?
I think it's a little bit difficult with the regulations here on Maui on being able to do that, because there's a lot of opposition to that. I think maybe Greg can chime in on that, but I don't think you could do Airbnb unless it was maybe long term, like 30 days.
Yeah, I think the new law is in effect now, I believe, don't quote me, but that now you would have to own it for 5 years before you can apply for the permit. And from what I'm hearing, don't even bother applying. You know, like so strict. I mean, also like there can't be another residential short-term rental within a certain 500 feet or something like that. And actually, no, I have a friend I think is within that range of that house that has the Airbnb permit or B&B permit. So it's possible. You just got to, you know, do your due diligence, but it's really challenging.
Got some work ahead. Gotcha. Right on.
Yeah, like Alex was saying too, I know you can get away with it for the 30-day mark. That's another way people get arrested. So it's not really a B&B, but people will still rent for 30 plus days. You got to read up more on that too.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for all the input. Anybody else got any other announcements or anything else that you need? Otherwise, we're going to move on and kind of switch gears and chat.
I did want to say one more thing to that, more of a good deed / win-win that I've been doing here while I'm in LA. So I got this idea before when I was working for my second mentors, where I would have someone drive me around in my car to go look at a bunch of property. That way I could still be working on the passenger side and, you know, right, and get stuff done. So I did it last time I was here in LA, and I've done it successfully again this, where I just basically post on my social media, you know, people wanted to drive me around while I can still work, and they can overhear all my conversations. They can, you know, really just be a fly on the wall, and I could explain to them all the conversations I'm having, and it's worked out really, really well. So if you're an active investor, you're looking for like a way to get more things done, I think it's just a win-win, because everybody's gotten a lot of value from it, myself and the people that are in the car. And so even this, what I did today, instead of doing one person, I brought 3 people. So there was 4 of them. It was like a real estate investor ride along. And so there's 3 guys, and I'm like, hey, can you check where we can go have lunch? You know, like just Google something. And they're like, hey, can you check on, you know, this? And then like we're all kind of working in the car. And I don't know, it's paid off. So I just wanted to share that little bit of a experiment kind of idea that I've been executing. It's been a win-win.
That's awesome. That's a great idea, actually. And you get free driving out of that whole thing. So, I mean, that's beautiful. Yeah. And if anybody's in the Los Angeles area and you kind of are thinking about contacting Alex about that, he's the real deal. And he would be definitely somebody I would ride along with. In fact, I've never gotten that invitation. So hopefully you take him up on that, because he's doing some pretty cool stuff in LA. So definitely.
I need to drive you around, bro.
What are you talking about? I drive in circles.
I'll drive the RV, Kikoa, anywhere you want to go. Let's go.
Yeah, Alex Camacho Alexander is my RV chauffeur. He's fantastic at it. He hasn't killed anybody yet, but you know, my prayer life increases a bit when he drives.
We needed to do
I got a trailer. I'll join you. Let me know where you're camping.
Let's do it. Who has a trailer? Matt does. Right on.
I do.
Yeah, we'll do a big RV meetup. RV real estate meetup.
I'm in.
RV REI. Add some BLT on top of that. We're good to go.
I'm selling my RV and moving to Texas, but really quick before they move to the next
Gary,
thing,
you're moving to Texas.
Yeah, man.
You joining
that's it.
Elon Musk and the whole wide world down in Texas, are you?
Yeah, I'm moving to North Texas.
Which part of Texas are you moving to?
Frisco area.
Yeah. My in-laws live in Denton.
Okay, cool. Yeah, they're right there.
Well,
Yeah, I need to find some money. I actually just had the kind of a rug pull. We've had a really good relationship since COVID. We had to kind of shift gears. We were working with certain lending a bunch on our long-term money, and then we've had a really good relationship with Coastal Community Bank here locally, and we kind of hit a limit that we didn't know existed with them, where we have too much money out at this point, and our cash flow is great. Things are going well there, but they circled back to us and said, hey, we talked to our credit team. We've hit this $5 million limit in money that we've got out to you, and we're going to need you to have X amount in deposits with us. And then we're also going to take you down to 70% LTV instead of 80% LTV. And we're like, shit, you guys. I mean, we just raised $5 million to go buy these houses based upon the terms we have. What do you mean? Yeah. So we're actively shopping long-term money right now. So that literally happened yesterday afternoon. I figured I'd be on the call and talk to the team about what's out there. So I'm sure I'll talk to Alex or Justin or something. But we're shopping long-term money for our strategy. A lot of asset-based lenders look at us they look at our tenants as an operator tenant. So we pay a little higher rates, but we're actively shopping. If anybody's got some leads for me, need to figure that out. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I can do. And then you're doing mostly single families, right, for your projects?
Correct. Almost all single family. We've got a couple of duplexes and triplexes, but we turn them into one unit basically if we buy them, for now. And then, our additional exit plan is turn them back into multi, 2 and 3 unit places. But yeah, all single family.
Perfect. Yeah. So if anybody's got any good leads, I think some folks are jumping on. Oh, Tomas said no, never mind. He's commercial.
What Jared, what do you look like? What kind of rates are you looking for?
Well, most of our loans are between 5 and 6. So that's where we've been at. We've, the biggest, it's all inclusive. So we've really just we're in a place where we're just analyzing and looking at it, because we're at a place where a lot of times our tenants, we discount rent a little bit more than we could with them, because we want to really be a long-term partner. It's really a relationship business with them. So we're analyzing what's out there with money, and then we'll work it backwards kind of on our rent structure, what it needs to look like, and we'll just communicate on all ends. So obviously as low as possible, right?
I think we could be competitive with that for sure. And I think that right now on our 30-year, the lowest rate we can offer is a 4.25.
Okay.
So on rental property. So, and I think as long as the DSCR of 1.1 or 1.25, you're good.
Our average is 1.8. So on that side, we're pretty good. It's a matter of your capital partners and whether, how they look at our tenants and things like that. So that's what we're noticing is, I'll send you my rent roll, my leases, that stuff, and then figure out where the money's coming from and what they're going to give me. So
I think we'll be able to get it done for you. I feel pretty confident, especially with it being single families, the duplexes, 1 to 4s, like that's our specialty. So.
Okay, sweet. I'll send you some stuff.
Jerry, we're just going to have one stipulation, is that if we lend you money, we get to be a partner on one of the projects.
One of them? No problem. How about I just help you buy one? They need them everywhere. Let's go.
We want to learn. We want to do it. I think it's awesome. You have a great vision. I love the missional vision that you have behind all that you do. So I think that's great. We'd be honored to be a part of it. So
thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Got any other leads? That's great. When do you move to Texas?
We are setting up to move in September. My wife is currently packing, and the house is being built. So
nice. And why Texas?
Well, I'm in a coaching group, and I coach some kind of beginner, real estate guys around the country within there, and some entrepreneurs who do stuff on the side. And the basis of the group is there in Texas. So it's really just kind of around people. I feel like I live on an island up here, and I kind of feel like I'm on an island up here. So it's really just getting around people, church related sort of a thing.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. And you're in Bainbridge Island or Camino?
Camino. Yep.
Nice. That's a good area. All right. Well, good luck, and we'll come visit you in Dallas. We're trying to expand some stuff down there, so it'd be great to see you there. Awesome. Well, let's switch gears, and we've got a special guest, a friend of ours, jumping in today. I think all of you are going to actually really enjoy today. It's a little bit something for everybody, whether you're a brand new investor, you've been investing for a long time, if you're a private investor, you're a flipper, a wholesaler. This guy kind of does a little bit of all kinds of things, and so it's pretty cool. But I think what I'm most impressed is just his heart. He is super humble, has worked really hard, and has got a really interesting story. So with that, Lance Wakefield, welcome to the Coffee Talk this week.
Oh man, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have you. I want to kind of jump out of the story. I mean, your early story is pretty fascinating because it has so much to do with just kind of how sometimes life happens, and life is more about what you do when life happens than anything else, right? And share with us kind of a little bit about kind of early on some of the challenges that you had, and then we'll fast forward to where you are today. But it's pretty fascinating, some of the things that happened to you early on. So I know you grew up as a Mormon. You kind of went on missions, and life was going pretty decent at that time, and kind of pick up from kind of that point, right about college.
Yeah, I finished, when you serve a mission for like the Mormon church, you're like off the grid. Like you don't talk to anyone, you don't know anything. And I was in Belgium and France doing that. And then I got back and started going to BYU in Utah. And I got back in November, I think 2008. So right as the world was falling apart. And I was 21 years old, and I ran into someone who I needed to find a place to live because I don't want to live with my parents anymore. And I found someone who they couldn't make their home payment anymore, but their house is right next to the university I was going to. And so I offered to take over their payments. They said, okay. And then I was a homeowner. I was 21. It was like a 6-bedroom, 4-bath. And I went and moved into one room, put a roommate in my room, and rented out every single other room. And the payment was like $1,000 a month. And I was bringing in like over $2,000 a month in rent. And I was like, hell yeah. So what's up? So
exactly.
I got pretty excited about
That's
that.
Great.
I got excited about that. And I was like, yeah, I can do this. And after I bought that house, I kind of got involved in cars, and I started a little used car dealership. And the used car dealership, I would finance cars. So it's kind of like financing homes, but obviously they're cars. And so I started doing that, and I started with $1,500 that I'd saved up from working as a maintenance tech at an apartment complex. I saved up $1,500 and I bought 2 cars with it. And I sold one of the cars I bought for $400. I sold it for $1,500 the next day. And I realized I'm never going to work for anybody ever again. And then I sold the other one for like $2,000 like later that week. And I was like, yeah, this is what's up. So I started going more with cars because I just didn't think I had enough money to buy real estate. So I started doing lots of cars, and that was when I was 21. By the time I was 24, I'd built it up to, I was going to school full time, and I owned a restaurant and 2 car dealerships, one in Utah and one in Las Vegas. And I was moving probably about 20 cars a week, 10 from each dealership, and was just hustling. And I quit going to school because I was making more money than most of my professors, and I was like, this is stupid. And I quit school and did that, and then me and my wife got divorced, and my whole life started falling apart. And about a year after we split up, like during that year, my best friend died. My ex-wife moved with my daughter, who was like a year old at the time, moved to Texas. And then I ended up signing my restaurant over to the investors who invested in it. And then a few days later, my brother was killed. And I just sort of didn't know what to do. And the guy who was managing my dealership in Vegas stole like 3 cars or four cars, and they were worth like 120 grand. And most of my cars were pretty cheap. They're like $4,000 to $7,000, $8,000. He stole like the four expensive ones that I had. And I didn't have enough cash on hand to cover it. So the flooring company could take all of my cars and all the other cars that they had financed me. So they took everything. And just like that, I was like completely broke. And the, 3 weeks before I was doing pretty well. And then had nothing and had to figure out what to do with my life. So fast forward like 6 months, and this is now in like 2015, one of my friends, no, 2014, 2014, one of my friends had bought a house during the like Obama incentive, the $7,500 towards your house or whatever. And he started flipping it and like couldn't finish. So my parents were like, hey, you do this, flip this house, like we'll split the money with you and you can start. And so that's kind of how I started getting back into the home thing. I also fixed up the home that I owned and sold it. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to move to Texas and go be a dad. So I was in 2015, I moved to Texas, and I got a W-2 job here for like working for like a few months and couldn't stand it. And I quit a few months later, and I didn't really have a plan, but I figured it out. I started doing like construction work and then found some properties that were like, I thought I could flip, and they were cheap. They're like 30 grand. And so my parents bought them and I flipped them, and then they kept them, and they didn't even pay me to flip them. I just did it to kind of figure it out. And we bought both properties from wholesalers. So there's two that we did. And on one, the wholesaler made, I think 22 grand. On the other, the wholesaler made 15. And I was like, shoot, we paid 37,000 to acquire $90,000 worth of property. Why don't I just find the sellers directly and buy from them directly and save the 37 grand on the next year? And so I spent in, it was January of 2016. I spent like all the money I had, it was like $1,200 on marketing. And I sent out like, I don't know, like 1,000 postcards. And I just worked like everything that came in from it. Ended up with 4 contracts from that, which is insane. I could never do that now. But ended up with 4 contracts in February of 2016, sold the 4 contracts in March of 2016 and made 100 grand on the 4 contracts. And was like, hell yeah, this is what's up. And so I started wholesaling from there.
I just want to say something on that, Lance, because I just shared something on Instagram that I saw. It kind of resonated with me, but basically what the premise was is like the first million is hard. Your first million, it's hard to make $1 million, but the second million is inevitable. And it's because in order to get to a certain place, like, with your cars and stuff, like you build character along the way that it sticks with you. No one can take that away, right? The experience. So like the hardest part is just making your first success, which you had, but it got taken away from you, right? And it's kind of almost like rock bottom, it seemed like. But then the fact that, you still have the character that you built, getting to that level of success, that's still with you to take you even further on the next round, right? So I just wanted to kind of, it's your story resonates with me because this week, for some reason, that has been a message that's been coming my way from different angles. It's like the hardest part, making $1 million is hard, right? The first million is hard, but the second million is like, it's inevitable, right?
100%, man. I was like just depressed and just destroyed for a long time after I grew up on Oahu on the North Shore. And so when all that happened with my car dealerships, like not getting titles to people in Utah, in Nevada, it's not, but in Utah, it's like criminal. And they were like going to start coming after me, like put me in jail. And I was like, nope. And I just got on a plane, went to Hawaii, and just posted up in my like buddy's parents' basement and just hung out there for like 3 months while everything kind of got sorted out. Everyone chilled out. I got everyone everything eventually. I paid everything back that I owed, but it was a bitch. It was like years of making that right. And so it's been a journey, but you're right. After I did it the first time, it's very similar. Like the setup from what I was doing, where we were like buying cars, fixing them, selling them, financing them. It's very similar to homes. It's a different it's a different like commodity, I guess. It's a different industry, but it's the same process. We have all the same pieces in place to make everything happen.
Yeah.
And so that's
So
when I like,
fast forward a little bit. So that was $1,200. You sent 1,000 pieces out. You locked up 4 properties, made 100,000. And then just to kind of give us a preview of today's reality. So fast forward it now, what, 5 years, 2021.
mhm,
And when we had lunch last week, you were saying right around $40,000 to $50,000 is your budget for mailings and direct marketing now.
yeah.
So kind of a small leap from the $1,000.
Mhm.
Most of us may not want to spend 50 grand a month on it, but tell us how that looks like today in your world.
So yeah, so now I've got about 12 people that work for me full time. We've got we're doing like 30, I think it's about 34,000 a month of marketing right now. And we're from that, we're trying to buy about 8 deals a week is where we are trying to be at. And we're pretty close to there. So with the deals we buy, we have like 4 exits that we do with those deals. We wholesale, fix and flip, seller finance, or rent them out. So those are kind of like our 4 exits. And we look at a handful of factors when we decide how to disposition each property and what to do with them. And then we just kind of put it in a bucket, and each bucket has a system that we go through, and we follow that system with each property in each bucket and just kind of rinse and repeat over and over and over and over.
That's amazing. So $35,000 a month, how many direct pieces is that? Or how many texts is that? How does that look like?
A lot. It's a lot of everything. It's a lot of cold calling. It's a lot of texts. It's a lot of direct mail. So I'm sending out about, depends on the month. Some months we do 2 drops. Some months we do 3 drops of direct mail. Each direct mail drop is 20,000 postcard minimum drops. And so we're sending out 40 to 60,000 pieces a month. And then we're also texting, and we text probably about 250,000 people a month. And then we also are cold calling. We cold call about, I mean, if you do dials, we're dialing like, I don't know, 60,000, 250,000 people a month as well. So we're hitting up, I mean, that's 300,000 reach out attempts a month if you add that up.
That's
Plus on Facebook and Instagram and some other platforms, we take, from when we skip trace, you get emails. We take the emails and we like Facebook and Instagram stock everybody and put our video ads in front of them as well. So there's tens of thousands more impressions that happen there each month. So between all of that, that's kind of like the web that we put out that we try to catch deals in.
That's amazing. And so the results are about 30 deals closed a month right now.
30 deals contracted a month and probably 22 to 25 closed depending on the month. Well, deals fall out. Like people sign a contract and they say, F you, I'm not selling anymore. People sign a contract and they realize they owe more than they signed the contract for. They realize they don't actually own the home. Crap happens. So probably 22 to 25 a month is what we actually end up closing.
That's amazing, which is about 400,000 to 500,000 in revenues.
Yeah, around there. Depends. I mean, depends what I'm doing with them. My overhead's nowhere near that. So a lot of the property we're trying to either rent out or seller finance or put into long-term strategies, and then wholesale as few as possible and flip as many as possible, because I make way more on a flip than I do on a wholesale usually. And when I can flip them, I can keep more, right? Because the deal, there's like, you can only get so many deals. Like the deal's always the problem. So the more deals I can put into long-term, the more my net worth will grow, and the less deals I wholesale out, like it's the less money I'm giving away, I guess is how I look at it, because getting the deal is the hardest part. And it has been for years. That's always been the problem, is finding enough deals.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, and that's huge, right? So over 5 years, you kind of went from hiding in a basement in Hawaii, and life is the worst it possibly could have been, all the way to, $400,000, $500,000 now a month in net income from all these deals. 12 people on your staff, living in Dallas, and just for anybody who is in Dallas, Lance is a great guy to hang out with, but he's doing extremely well. But life happens, right? But give us a little bit about your mindset, kind of, if you were to do it all over again, or if you were to give some advice to somebody who is going through a pretty tough time right now, getting started, or things are just pretty challenging. You've come through some of the worst things, and we didn't even talk about yet the fact that I would just leave it at that. So tell us a little bit about your mindset. Just kind of, if you were to do it again, and just to say, hey, here's the mindset that really helped push me through this, because that's not easy what you've been through.
I don't have a mindset. Like, failure is just not a fucking option. Excuse my French.
Nice.
Like, you can't fail. Like, what the hell is that? Like, you're just gonna give up? Like, it's just not an option. Like, why would you quit just because it's hard, or just because you got laid out? Like, Mike Tyson didn't quit when he got hit. Muhammad Ali didn't quit when he got hit. Everyone's gonna get hit. But what are you going to do with it when it happens? Like, that's how I feel. That's how I think of it. Like, everyone's going to get it. Everyone's going to get theirs, and everyone's looks different. But the people that we all look up to, they all got back up after they got hit. They didn't stay on the ground or stay in the basement in Hawaii forever. Like,
I think
I could be a loser, I guess.
Yeah,
I could just be a loser forever. Yeah, right. I mean, that's kind of what happened. Like, when I quit my job after I moved to Texas, I quit my job the day my son was born. My son's like 5.5 now. I quit my job that day because my job wanted me to be an hour away. And then I was like, well, crap, I got to make money. And there was no other option. It was like, I got to get homes under contract and fix and flip them, or sell those contracts, or do something, because if I don't, he ain't going to eat. So I just burned the boats, baby. Like, there was I literally did not give myself any other option.
There's no way to go back. I love it.
Yeah.
Corey, you were going to say something?
No, I was just saying that is a mindset, like just an attitude of relentlessness. Nothing's gonna, like, there's no other option other than up. So well, Lance, I'm just super curious, because this business is not easy to scale, right? Because there's so many moving pieces, and you have 4 exit strategies for the marketing that's coming in, and you guys are doing a lot of marketing. Not many people have that type of budget, and where they can get that type of returns. So I just want to understand the structure of your 12 employees or contractors that work within your company. Do you have acquisition managers and disposition managers? How does that look?
All right. So there's a few other like caveats. We have VAs. I've got 8 VAs in Venezuela that help us with everything. And they mostly help with, like, I don't know, the VA stuff. I'm not going to get too into the weeds on what everybody does, because it just would get really, I don't even know, to be honest.
Just the high level, or positions.
So we've got an ISA. That's who takes like our inbound marketing. All the people who call us, text us, message us, whatever it is, all of that funnels through the ISA department. So all of those leads are coming in, they get channeled through and filtered through. Then those leads go to acquisitions. We've got acquisition. I've got a full-time acquisitions guy, and I've got another guy who does acquisitions as well. So there's 3 of us buying. Once the deals are contracted, they go over to a transaction coordination. Transaction coordination is another position that handles everything from contract through close, through clearing title. Once title is clear, we have the disposition chosen. We've got kind of like a property analyst type of position. It's a part-time position. We analyze, ARV the deals, look at the photos, and figure out what we think the best disposition would be. From there, they'll either go to our sales guy who dispositions the property and sells them like wholesale, or we have that same guy also seller finances the properties. So, and then there's another person we have on our team that's an agent who lists our fix and flips and leases our rent houses. From there, we have 3 project managers who run, we've got about 12 crews that they run. Now the project managers are W-2, the crews are all, we pay them, they're subs or contractors. And so at any given time, we're fixing, like right now, I think I have like 18 homes under contract or under construction, and they manage that. And then I think that's the whole team. Might be someone I'm forgetting.
Who makes the decision on the final decision for what you're gonna, like, what exit strategy you're gonna execute on for which deal or which contract? Is it you?
I do, yeah. That's probably the most important thing in the business, I would say. So I get all of the information, and then might look up my own information as well. Like I'll get the comps and the ARV and what they think, and then I look and do my own due diligence. And then there's three major factors that we weigh, like the property, like that's the first and foremost. Like, we're not going to turn a $500,000 house into a rental. In Texas, we rent out $40,000 houses. This isn't like, I know you guys might do that in Hawaii, but that doesn't fly here. So we price point, area of the home, condition of the home, all that is probably the biggest factor in what you should do with the property. The next factor is like probably cash position. Like, if we need cash to operate or whatever, we're more likely to do something that's going to bring cash in than something that's long-term. Those two are the biggest factors. And then bandwidth is a lot less factor. If we're just like at max, we can't do anymore, then everything gets pushed to wholesale until we free up some bandwidth, get some properties closed or whatever. So those are the three factors that I generally really think on when I'm making a disposition decision.
That's awesome. Do all 12 of your employees report directly to you, or do you have some sort of management structure?
Oh, no, there's also like, he calls himself a CEO, but I'd say he's more of like a systems, like a COO. He makes all the systems work together. I'm not a systems guy. He is. And so he's just, that's the missing piece. I knew there was someone I was missing. He keeps everything communicating, all the systems talking to each other, everything working together.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's fantastic. And then, so a couple of questions that kind of showed up on the side here. You were talking about, how that whole system, your team of 12, you're sending out, thousands of direct mail pieces, SMSs. Let's see. Somebody asked, how do you get those phone numbers for your text messages?
Skip trace.
Skip trace.
There's several companies that do it. I think right now we're using IDI is a company that we're using right now, but it's just whoever gives us the best pricing. Usually they're pretty similar. They all say they have the best data, but it's all the same data. So
yeah,
just whoever gives you the best pricing. Don't do it starts with an A. There's another way to get phone numbers, but it's not nearly as effective as skip tracing. I forgot what it's called, but it's like 2 cents a record. What we pay is like, I think 10 cents a record. It's a lot more, but it's way better data. Not arbitration. I can't remember what it's called, but I recommend skip tracing. And if it's costing less than about 9 cents a record, it's not what you want. You're not going to get much better pricing than that unless you own the company.
Well, because I mean, your list and your data source is everything, right? I mean, you pay money for a junk data source, you're going to get junk results. So, so that's huge. So perfect. Okay, so skip tracing is huge. And then you've got your in-house team that's doing the phone calling. You've got SMS blasts coming and phones calling in. And so who does the negotiating? Is it just the three of you, you said, that do the negotiating on every deal that comes in?
Yeah, basically we've got some other methods. Like, I listed off all the different marketing we do. And then obviously we also have a network of agents and a network of wholesalers that we work with, and we buy deals from them and sell them back out. Like, we contracted a deal last week. It's kind of funny. The wholesaler had it locked up for, I think, $790. He wholesaled it to us for $812.5, and then we wholesaled it to someone else for $920, I think.
Wow.
And so like those deals I'm more apt to wholesale. And so there's deals like that come in that make sense. We could have flipped those deals too, but they're kind of far away. So we just decided we got a good offer on it. So we're like, all right.
I mean, if you can make $100,000 from doing nothing, in a sense, that's not too bad. Just curious on that one, because a lot of folks on a wholesaling side have issues with escrow and financing when you've got too many wholesale fees, too large of a wholesale fee, or properties that have basically been, daisy chained up. How did that work for you in closing to make sure that everybody got paid?
We just talked to the title and explained to them who needs to know what and what goes where on the HUDs, and that we want a blind HUD or here or whatever for wherever it's going. And I mean, I don't know, there wasn't anything special on that one. I've had issues like that before, but not on this one. On this one, they didn't ask, so I didn't tell. Like if they're not going to fuss about it, I'm not going to bring it up.
That's awesome. So for somebody who's brand new to wholesaling, explain what a blind HUD is.
It's where like the HUD statement's like the giant receipt at the end of the transaction that shows where all the money is going. And the only money you really need to know where it's going is your money. The other side's money is none of your business, in my opinion. And so we just tell the title company to leave our side blind so that like a seller can't see what the buyer's doing. So when the seller sold it, he just saw the breakout of where his 790 was going. He didn't see what was happening on the other end. Now the other wholesaler saw it and he was like, damn, dude, how'd you sell it for that much? And I'm like, bro, been doing this a little bit longer than you. I also have a huge buyers list. Like I have 30,000 people on my buyers list. And so it's hard to compete with that because I can touch more people, and the more people you can get a deal in front of, the more money you can make.
Yeah.
So, and then on my side, on the buyer side, like he found out at closing where everything was, and he'd already put 20 grand of earnest money in, so he wasn't going to back out. So,
yeah.
I didn't hear him complain at all, and he thanked me when it was done, but
Yeah.
he saw what everyone was making. So,
yeah. No, that's great. Are you finding that as a wholesaler right now that there's a lot of other wholesalers doing direct marketing and sending postcards, so how are you addressing that when you got a seller on the line that's like, bro, pissed because they're getting another call or another text or another mailer?
I just talk mad crap on all the other wholesalers. Like I tell them, I asked the seller straight up, I'm like, what is your other, like you ask me, like if I talk to a seller and he's talking to another wholesaler, how do I compete with that other wholesaler?
Yep.
So I'll tell him straight up, I'm like, ask the other guy what he's doing with the property. Just ask him. And I'm like, I guarantee you he's wholesaling it. You know how that works? They put your house under contract, they try and find some schmuck to pay more than them for that property. And if they can't find someone, you know what they do the day of closing? They go, hi, Mr. Seller, I can't make it work. Sorry, bye. Or, hey, drop your price 50,000 and I'll make it work. Those are your options. With me, I'm an end buyer. I'll show you bank statement. I can close on your house today. I have the money and I have the properties. I can show you flips I've done. I can show you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes I've bought. The other guy you're talking to is Jose Cuervo over there. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He doesn't have a team behind him. He doesn't have banks backing him. He doesn't have any of that. I'm going to close. I'm a closer. I'm going to buy your house. The other guy is going to resell it and pray he can get more for it. Who do you want to bet on?
Awesome. Yeah.
And usually that's pretty effective.
Yeah.
Where it gets really difficult is right now, a strategy that a lot of wholesalers are using is if like max someone can pay for a property to say 100K, they're coming and offering like 125. It's at a point where they can't make money.
Yeah.
And I've got to convince the seller that like, bro, there's no way that this guy's actually going to pay this money. And sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. When I can't though, they usually come back to me after the other guy fails.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. If anybody else has other questions, throw it in the chat there as well. So that's awesome. So then negotiating, you got a team that's doing that. That's great. If you were to say your top suggestion for someone who's trying to negotiate direct with seller, what would you say that secret sauce would be for you? Because you guys are doing great. That's a lot of closings, or a lot of under contract in a month.
Listen. Like that's it. Most wholesalers, most salespeople just don't listen. Just listen.
And what are you listening for?
Like they might even not even know what their needs are. But if you listen to what's going on in their life and why they're selling, they'll tell you everything that they need. And that's it. I mean, that's like the best advice I could give is like figure out how to ask questions and listen.
And that's huge because
The
I think
focus is them.
100%. I think so many people who are new to wholesaling or car sales or any sales, they're so concerned with their sales pitch and selling themselves that they forget that they really don't need to sell themselves. They just got to figure out what the needs are and then figure out how to meet those needs.
Between that and then knowledge, like if you just know so much more, like I can get down into the freaking weeds with a seller like an attorney can on like airship and probate and all of the very hairy, difficult stuff. I know how it all plays out because I've seen the episode before because I've done enough deals now. So like when there's some guy who's done like 7 deals who's competing with me for a deal, it's really easy to win because I'm like, look, here's what's going to happen. And I want you to just ask the other guy what happens in this scenario. Just ask him and then call me back. And I'll be like, look, here's how this is going to go. This is how it works every time. Ask the other guy, see if he knows how to deal with it. And then they call me back or I call them back a day or two later. I'm like, how'd that go? And it's just like a lot of people just don't like, they understand the concept of put a property under contract, assign it for more, make the money in the middle. But they don't understand the nuts and bolts of what it has to happen in everyone's situations in between. And because I've like had the experience of dealing with that so many times now in so many different ways, I can explain that so much better. And so the knowledge and then like me hearing what the problem is and having the knowledge to help them feel comfortable that I can actually solve their problem and then actually being able to solve their problem. All of those things together is what I do to buy homes.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, and that experience is definitely invaluable. And some of us, we've been in the industry a long time. We've got that experience. What would you say for somebody who's brand new, kind of getting started? They want to be successful. They've got your mindset that there's no way they're going to fail. What would you say the best way for them to negotiate with a seller would be if they don't necessarily have the experience or the large team behind them?
If I had to do it over again, I would go get a job for someone doing it. I'd go find like a company that's buying homes and doing what I want to do and go work for them for a few years. Anyone who's good, who's doing that, like if someone approached me today in Dallas and was like, hey, I want to learn from you for like 2 or 3 years, I'll work for you and then I'm going to do my own thing. I'm gonna say, cool, you're gonna sign this non-compete though. So you can do it, just not here in Dallas. Like go somewhere else and compete with everyone else. I don't want someone knowing exactly how I'm doing what we're doing or how we're doing every detail of it because it's taken me years to put together, but that's how I would honestly start. I know that investing on your own and not having a boss and all that is like the sex appeal, but I mean, I don't know if I'd be further ahead or not, but I feel like that's the best way to go in and learn is through experience with like a mentor there with you who is your boss, or if you can partner with someone, that's another good way, but it's hard to bring value in a partnership like that if they know what they're doing and you don't.
Yeah, if you're brand new for sure. Unless you're bringing the money, then that.
Yeah, if you've got the money, then that could work.
That's great. So if anybody's on this call and they want to move to Dallas and hang out with a really cool family, Lance's wife is an amazing house flipper herself, an amazing designer. And so you got a job offer, I guess, in some ways, as long as you pass Lance's interview process. But yeah, I 100% agree with you. In fact, Corey and I met partially because we worked for the same investor. And we learned from him and we learned all the things we wanted to do. And we learned a whole bunch of things we definitely did not want to repeat. And sometimes life is too short to make all the mistakes yourself. And so, especially when you're starting business, if you can figure out the mistakes somebody else has made, it's so much better because then you're not making those costly mistakes as well. So 100% agree with you on that one. And I like that second point too, is sometimes, you just don't have an opportunity. There's no great other investor that wants to work with you, or you don't have somebody in your market. Then partner with somebody, do a deal with somebody that either is on this coffee talk or somewhere else that is doing some cool deals. I mean, I guarantee if you go to Lance and just say, hey, I've got some money, and I've got not a lot of experience, but I just want to shadow the whole thing. Can I fund the next deal? And can you just let me in on everything you're saying and doing? I guarantee you guys like Lance would be like 100%, let's go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. Good stuff. So in terms of your company now, these days, you're cranking out a whole lot of these wholesale deals and you're turning them, you got these exit strategies. What are you looking, in terms of your lens, having been in the market for so long and all that's happening right now with Biden and 1031s and possibly interest rates growing, and, people moving all over the place, a lot of people moving to Texas, kind of what's your lens on the world right now in terms of real estate?
So I don't have a ton of, I don't know how to say this. I don't know where the value of the US dollar is going to be long term, but I know that right now, so here in DFW, there's a metro area of about 7 million people. And there's a lot of surrounding cities outside of Metro DFW, but that are still close enough that people can live in those cities and work in DFW. So I've been starting to focus more on those areas. And like yesterday, we got a contract. We got 2 contracts in. We got another one in today. So one contract was 40,000 ARV 150. Another contract was 30,000 ARV 125. Another contract was 65,000 ARV 180.
Nice.
And so we're buying these homes that are like, they're in these markets, but you can't build a house for 30K anymore. Like there's just no, like your lumber is 30K now, just the lumber. And so like, I'm trying to figure out where I can put money into assets that it's kind of like Warren Buffett. If you've ever read his like 800-page book, the Snowball book, how he started out is he bought cigar butts. He bought these companies that their assets were worth more than the company. And so he would just buy the company and liquidate the assets. And it's the same kind of idea. I'm no Warren Buffett, but it's the same idea. Like this house cannot be built again for this amount. So if I buy this house for this amount, I am secure. Like it can't be worth less. There's a story that Tony Robbins has in his investing book, and I forgot who it was exactly, but there was a point in time where nickels were made out of, I want to say silver or coated in silver or something, but the value of the nickel was about 6.5 cents. And obviously a nickel will cost a nickel. And so if you got those nickels, and so this dude bought like, I don't know how much money worth of nickels and then melted them down and whatever. And that was his backup plan. And so it's like the principle of buying an asset that has more intrinsic value than what you're paying for it. So that's what I'm trying to do right now is like, hey, if I can buy, $5-10 million worth of these 30 sub $80,000 homes, they're not going to exist in 3 or 4 years. They just won't exist anymore. There's not going to be anything under 100. And so I'm spending money there. And then I'm also looking at where I haven't been buying in Waco. Waco, Texas is like halfway between Dallas, Texas and Austin, Texas. And that's also where Elon Musk's, that's where Chip and Joanna Gaines flip homes. Right. And so it's got a lot of notoriety from that. And then Elon Musk's rocket engine factory is there. It's about an hour from some of the factories he's building in Austin. And so I feel like that's a good place. And you can still buy homes for like 30, 40,000 bucks there. So that's another place I'm going to start investing in this summer is Waco, buying up stuff there because it's cheap. You can't get it for that cheap anymore. So that's kind of where I'm going is like, I probably want to own about 200 doors rental wise. And then I also like to sell or finance a couple hundred doors as well. And between those two strategies, I should be all right for the next while.
Yeah, 1 or 2 lifetimes to come, I think, with 400. I think you'll be doing just fine. And if you and I get to work together, we'll start buying some multifamilies together in Dallas too. So
there we go.
Yeah. And then, of course, we got to go RVing because Lance just picked up a brand new RV that is just sicker than sick. So.
Oh, yeah, it's time.
Well,
I don't know, whoever said they were selling their RV and moving to Texas, bro, you're going backwards, bro. You got to buy an RV and move to Texas.
I'll be upgrading the RV when I get to Texas, bro.
There you go. Okay, I respect the strategy.
Yeah, you guys will need to get together for lunch. I'll pull us all together when I'm in Dallas next time. You'll like Lance, you'll like Jared. Jared, you're gonna really like Lance. So you guys
Oh,
are gonna
for sure.
you guys are gonna have a good time, which would be awesome. And I wish we had more time, Lance. I know we're going overtime overall, but you know, I think there's so much. And if anybody's got any additional questions you want to throw up real quick, let's do it. One of the things that Lance didn't share with you is just you know, he's got such a great mindset, and I just enjoyed just watching him and hearing from him. But it was just before COVID, the tornado that tore through Dallas actually tore right through his house and basically totaled his house. So in the midst of building a real estate empire and having lost friends and lost his brother and, you know, kind of rebuilding, life just doesn't stop punching him in the face, but he doesn't stop. He took the insurance money and he in the middle of COVID, when everybody was locked down, he just started building a house himself. And now he's built this. Tell us a little about the house you're in, because it's such a great pivot from, you know, just taking what is that thing that they say? Take the lemons and make lemonade.
Yeah.
Bro, you've made lemon margaritas out of that. You got a dinky little 3-bedroom house, and now it's insane.
Yeah, I'll show you the basic gist, but my kids are home, so I don't even know if they know I'm here. So it might get loud. I'll warn you. But basically, our house used to be a 1-story. Oh, sorry. It used to be a 1-story, and then the tornado ripped it down, and we rebuilt it. I don't know how well you can see it, but we rebuilt it like this. And so it's been crazy, but it went from being worth about 850 tornado, and now I got about 750,000 from insurance, and then I could probably sell it now for between 2.5 and 3 million. And we just
that's that talk about creativity and resourcefulness right there. And now he's frozen up.
I helped with a lot of the work, because what the hell else was I gonna do? So
yeah, and that's what's crazy, is that you did all that with just the insurance money, and now you've got 2 Airbnbs or rentals, and then you've got your main house that's palatial. So yeah, no, it's exciting. I think if anybody takes anything away from today, is just the mindset of just don't give up. You know, life is going to happen. Challenges will happen in the business. Just keep pressing forward, having a great vision. And let's see. And Lance, anything you want? Go ahead. Anything you want to share?
You want to know what's crazy?
Yeah.
So when you were at my house on Friday, okay, you remember that street we drove down? There was that really nice house at the end that was like under construction. I was like, hey, they're still fixing that one from the tornado.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember that one? 2 houses down from that, a tornado came through again on Sunday.
This Sunday?
Hit my house this past Sunday. Hit my house a little bit, like only a couple $1,000s of damage, but it fully ripped the roof, the trusses, the decking, everything off of the house, two doors down from that big house. The roof is fully gone.
What's going on with your neighborhood, bro?
Bro, I don't know. It's time to move.
I think you got to put that house on market and get out.
It's time. It is time. The pool is getting finished next week, and it's going on the market. I'm out. I'm not waiting for another one.
Get in your RV and get out of there, because I don't know how many times can you possibly claim insurance on a tornado policy without it being like $10,000 a month?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I don't want to find out.
Yeah, don't find out. Yeah. So if anybody wants a massively gorgeous home right in the center of downtown Dallas with 2 rental units, and I don't know, would you guys? It's just like a 6-car garage or something. It's nuts. Yeah. It's huge. But that's awesome. So connect with Lance on Facebook, Instagram. You can check him out on Bigger Pockets as well. Lance is amazing, and he's just got a generous heart to help mentor folks. And if you're in the Dallas area, you know, you can basically hit him up. And then we're going to have him come out to Hawaii sometime. We're going to do a mastermind together. So if anybody's interested in sitting around on a beach when COVID lifts, that's kind of the plan coming up sometime soon. But Lance, thank you so much for hanging out. You look like you're on an exercise bike, or you just keep swaying your hips to try to be sexy and do the hula.
I'm on a Peloton right now because I don't have anywhere else to sit where kids aren't going to bug me. So
you got this massive house and you can't get away from your kids. I love it.
Keiko, you gotta link us up. I've got a buddy. I don't know if you're north of there, if you're marketing north, Lance, but I got a buddy who's probably got I think he's got a $3 million budget, and he's shopping in that Frisco, Prosper, Salina area. I got to find something for him. I'll be on the ground looking for him. So I want to connect and see if you got, see if you're marking up in that area.
I can help. That's what my wife does. She flips homes, and her flips are, I don't know, 700 to 1.5.
Okay.
So
yeah,
she's always got stuff in the pipeline. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, hit me up.
Cool.
Yeah, Jared, I'll just remind me and I'll shoot you Lance's number and stuff, Lance, if you're cool with that.
For sure.
That'd be great. You guys will get along great. It's awesome. Well, cool. Yeah, no, thanks. I know we're running a little bit long, but great turnout to everybody who hung out here on Friday, and hope you're inspired. There's so much more to Lance's story that we just couldn't even unpack. But one day, we'll continue to just chat together. But for right now, I think we'll call it a wrap, so that way Lance can get on his Peloton, and everybody can have a great weekend. Thanks for being a part. If anybody's got any additional needs or resources that you want to share, check out the Facebook page for our Keiko Capital, our Coffee Talk, and post it there. I think Greg already posted his deal, so that's a great one to check out as well. But I think that's about it.
Yes,
Corey, you got any-
sir.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just said yes, sir. It's up there.
Right on. Thanks, Greg. Corey, you got anything departing words of wisdom or any cool things?
I wish. No, I just want to say thank you to Lance and everybody for jumping on again for another Friday. We're trying to do fancy Fridays in the office and totally failed this week. So we'll see you next week. But I hope everyone has a great week, and we'll see you guys on the call next week and hopefully in the Facebook group. Everyone have a great week, and aloha, everybody.
Right on. Thanks,
Have a
everybody.
good weekend.
Aloha.
Thanks, Lance.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Let's get those RVs rolling, buddy.
Let's do it.
Hey,
Okay, Cole, when are you going back to Dallas?
When am I going back to Dallas? The minute Lance invites me to his guest quarters. But apparently there's tornadoes keep coming through, so I'm not sure.
Bro, I don't know. I don't know about coming here, bro.
Yeah.
Where's your RV at right now, Kiko?
My RV is in the RV shop in Tacoma right now, getting thousands of dollars worth of tune-up done.
Hey,
That's what
I'm right down the street from Tacoma. So next time you're up here, let's go camping or drive down to Dallas. Why not?
Yeah,
Come on down.
It's a nice drive. Actually, I'm going to try to get. We were talking to a bunch of folks about just getting our RVs together and kind of traveling and doing some masterminds across the country. So,
Bro, I'm in.
right?
I know, I'm in too.
I
That'd be awesome.
I mentioned that to some investors in Vegas, and they've got a couple of big RVs too. And so yeah, so we'll just go around the country, do masterminds, buy real estate. Sounds perfect.
Let's do it.
RV REI, I love it.
But I might head up to Patrick up in Ohio, and then of course.
Hey, come on up. I'm telling you, it's beautiful up here. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, that's what everybody says.
There's Hocking Hills. I mean, it's great. Not far from West Virginia. Originally where I'm from. So West Virginia. I mean, you got Canaan Valley. You got Hawks Nest. You got New River Gorge. I mean,
Nice.
all sorts of stuff. Beautiful area. Plus, my buddy down there, he owns Trademark Investments. So hook up with him too.
Yeah, no, Ohio's a great place. Well, first of all, you just got to go get yourself an RV so that way we can all hang out, because that's kind of a new, it's kind of a new thing.
A new thing. I'll just do it I'll just do it the rough style. I'll sleep out under the stars like I did in the Corps. Okay.
That's totally awesome. No, I definitely want to come out to Ohio sometime. That's a great market.
Now hit me up when you do.
100%. Please stick with us each week too, so we can continue to hear about your story and your success on this first flip, man.
Well, I definitely want to be here every weekend and give an update on that. Let you guys know how my first flip is going, and me and my partner how we're doing. So